welcome to the Jarek Brian Show. My name is Jarek, and I'm helping you navigate through these NFT culture and crypto trends. Today on the show, we have a very special guest. We have Rotten Banana from the Polygon Apes. Rotten Banana, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. How are you, Jarek?
I am wonderful, and it's great to finally have you on the show. I've been trying to get you on here for a little bit, but great to finally have you on. And kind of like before we kind of start off everything, right? What's been kind of your journey into Web3? What brought you all the way here to the Polygon Apes?
Well, it has been a crazy journey, and just to start it off with, in about, I think, 17 days, it would be our birthday / anniversary for the Polygon Apes, on the first anniversary on Polygon, and this is very exciting. What brought me here is a lot of things and a lot of factors, but I'll take you back to the start, how it began. I'm a creative director. That's what I do for a living. So I went to art school. I got my degree in visual communications and graphic design, and it kind of started from there. And I've been managing projects. I've been doing this. I do digital art, and that started ever since I was a little girl. So I've been into art, and it's been a wonderful journey, really. A lot of support from my family. I've got an artistic side in the family. So at one point, I'm sure you've heard of Ears, or maybe you and Ears been on Spaces before at some point. So Ears one time just gives me a call, and he's like, "So you do this for a living?" And he's a developer. He's like, "How about we start this thing?" He's a nerd, and he's been on this space way longer than me, and he knows kind of all the ins and outs. So it was a very cool opportunity, and I thought, why not share the art that I really like? I've been doing this for a very long time with the world, and see how it goes, because as an artist, your ultimate dream is to share pieces of art that you create with people. So seeing people actually buy in and trade in your art pieces and talking about them is just it's a dream for every single artist out there. So I thought this would be an amazing journey, an amazing experience, and I was like, yeah, honestly, the same day he reached out, it was the same day I said yes, and we started developing this, and it has been a crazy journey, and it's been very cool. I did start on Reddit though. I'm a Redditor, so is. So that's why we kind of like have that connection with Polygon, and we did not have doubts on which chain to be a part of, because I started on Reddit in early 2022, and then they released Gen 1, if I'm not wrong, I think that was July, maybe June of 2022, and I was just hooked on NFTs. I was like, oh my God, so all these artists, they just get, and they just share the art, and it was just a crazy thing. And then we started the Polygon Apes, and then we started collection, and after collection, one thing led to another, and here we are.
Oh no, that's great. I love the fact that you're like talking to like the artist, right? And you were definitely an artist before, and you came over here. And actually, before we kind of get into the Polygon Apes, right? I definitely want to talk about. And I'm so interested when artists kind of come over and come into the digital realm. Like, kind of like, what was kind of like your process from going from like traditional art to like digital art? Like, how was that? Was it like kind of like a struggle, or can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, sure. It was not a struggle, because I did start my digital art journey way before NFTs. So back at uni, and that was, I think, 2013, if I'm not wrong. My graduation project was all about digital art. So I had this amazing play in my head, and you need to reflect that when you go to art school. You kind of like think of things, and then you need to bring them to life in a way or another. So my graduation project was about digital art, and I created this battle between gods in different cultures. So it was like a very cool thing, where you'd get the Persian culture, and then you'd get Chinese, and then you'd get like everything from all around the world, and all of these gods like had this fight, and it was a play. So you kind of have to have a product, an end product, but you need to promote for it, and for you to make it happen, you have to obviously have it in an artistic way. So I did start my digital art journey way before NFTs, or way before me personally being on the NFT side of things. So it was not difficult at all. Maybe it is difficult for people who maybe are older, because they would have been more into canvases rather than digital art. But honestly, it was just something that I've been doing for a very long time, and I thought, well, why not just be a part of of Polygon, be a part of an NFT, and have my own NFT collection. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and yeah, that's wonderful, right? And it's kind of like, like you said, you were kind of digital art before, right? And as you kind of came into the NFT realm, right? Do you see, even now, right? Do you see like the big potential with NFTs? Like, what's kind of your take on what's going to happen with NFTs like in the future? Do you see it as something that's going to grow and become like, more widely adopted? Or I'm just kind of interested to hear your take on that.
100%. 100%. Every single thing has been digitalized, and this has been happening for a very long time now. And art is as important as anything else that's been taken digitally. So for us to just leave art, even anything that is art related, I'm just not talking about NFTs, for us to leave art is a huge part of our culture, a huge part of us as human. That we need to see beautiful things, and we need to see weird things, and different art schools. And you never know how from an artistic perspective, you never know how that's going to develop, because we have been seeing different art styles. Like even this year, ever since we started with the Polygon Ape and the collection, the art style has drifted and things have changed, and you'd see new and unique artistic style that are being brought into the NFT world. And I think there's a huge potential for this to grow, and for us to even have like our own school of NFT arts, because as you know, like previous artists and previous painters, art has developed over the years, and we've seen the modern style and we've seen the classical style. For us to get to this point where the art is digital and we see in different style and different brushes and different take on NFTs, I think it has amazing potential, and I don't think it's gonna, honestly, like, I think this is the future for art, for sure.
Oh yeah, you see, and that's kind of transition into like my next question, right? As far as other artists that are thinking about maybe kind of going into the kind of like NFT realm, right? Like kind of like this side, with the blockchain and everything like that. Like, what advice would you kind of give them that are kind of maybe on the fence?
I'm sorry, did you say for artists, like what advice do I give artists?
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of maybe thinking about like kind of getting into the NFT realm, but they're not too sure. It's kind of like a huge kind of just kind of ecosystem, right? And basically, they're on the fence, and they're really thinking about maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. What advice would you give them to kind of like ease them into like coming into this kind of realm of like the blockchain and NFTs and all that?
Yeah. First and most important advice is, do not take this step unless you kind of understand the development side of it. So I was blessed, honestly, to have partnered up with Ears, because I rely on him in terms of development. I do understand a lot of it now, way more than what it was when I first started. And if you don't have someone that you can depend on to at least teach you or be a partner with you in terms of development, just wait a little bit until you've got that covered. That is a major advice, because maybe some artists would think this is just an artistic piece that I can just draw it and just add it to the blockchain, but it has a lot of back ends to it that are very important for the artist to understand. So as an artist, I do want to know how my piece of art is going on that blockchain and how it's getting transferred from one person to another, and how is it being taken care of, So I don't want it to get lost, and I want it to be appreciated, and I want people to like it, but at the same time I need to understand the technicality behind this. So honestly, I think the most important advice would be, understand the back end of it, understand how that is going to happen, study it, and then decide if you're going to have your art on the blockchain. That is very, very important.
Oh yeah, and amazing advice, and yeah, that's just something that people need to kind of understand. It's not something you can just kind of rush into, right? You definitely want to understand it. Definitely, you don't want to kind of just. This is a very, there's scammers everywhere and things like that. So it was amazing advice. And now as we kind of like get into the like the Polygon Apes, right? And what was kind of not so much the inspiration behind it. I think we kind of like get that, right? But also, what was kind of like the thinking in creating the Polygon Apes, and what exactly are the Polygon Apes here to achieve?
Okay, so let me just tell you how we started and
Sure.
why we've decided on this project, and then I'll take you into where we are at the minute. So
Take me
as
on
I
the
said,
journey.
yeah, I'll take you on the journey. It's been very exciting, honestly. So when we first started, Polygon was not really popping as it is today. And I think it was very, very challenging, but at the same time, it was an advantage for our project. Because when we started, there was only a few projects out there. They were very nice and they were very successful. But it was a very small community. So that's how we started. We were sat on Polygon. There was no doubt in that, especially that we came from Reddit. We already understand Polygon. We understand the ecosystem and we know how it goes. And as I also said, Ease has been in this, like in the NFT world way before me. And he was always talking about the Bored Apes and how they've developed and what they did with the project. And we thought, we checked Polygon, there were no apes, and every other chain has its own apes. So we were like, okay, so we've got the capacity to actually make this happen. And we wanted to bring this experience, like for someone to be able to get an affordable ape and live the whole experience of mutating an ape. And we added an undead ape to the roadmap of these apes. So we wanted to bring a unique experience for people on Polygon to be a part of that experience that had happened years before, but people had missed out on. So that was the reason why we started this. We wanted something very cool for Polygon, and we thought, these people here have missed out on that opportunity once it happened on Ethereum, and we can be the people that we can bring it here. And that's how it started. So we brought it to Polygon and we started, and it was a very, 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 very small team of people. So when we started, it was me and Iz. We did not even have Twitter accounts. So we started, honestly, we started our Twitter accounts. I only had one follower that was Iz. And when I say we started from the bottom, that's where we started. We started from scratch and we built the whole project up, me and Iz, and we started meeting new people, and then we met Crooks. I'm sure you know Crooks.
Yep.
And Crooks is now a co-founder with us, in a partner. So I think like we faced a lot of challenges, and as I said, we grew this entire project very 1000% organically, and that's how we wanted to build this project. We wanted true believers of the project, and we wanted people who would like to be a part of this community and a part of this art project and a part of this experience. So that's why we started it, and we wanted to bring this whole mutation experience and undead experience to Polygon, and only for our community. So yeah, that's how it started.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. And usually, right, because like I know a lot of people are very like weary of like not so much derivative projects though, but projects that are like kind of like similar, right? And you guys have stuck around, right? You guys have been like grinding it out, right? Because usually those projects they come in, kind of go, but you guys have been here, you guys have been building and everything like that. And you kind of mentioned, Polygon at the beginning. There was like really nothing like much here. Like, what was the kind of thinking on coming here? Like, it was pretty much very risky because from what I understand, I wasn't here at the very beginning, but from what people say, Polygon really had nothing going on. So, like, what was kind of like the gamble with that?
So you can either see it as a huge gamble or you can see it as an opportunity. And that's how we saw it. We saw it was a very, let's say like, I don't want to choose the wrong word, but it was kind of like slow. So as I said, there was only a few projects out there, NFT projects, and the whole chain was not like popping, and we thought, okay, so we can bring this on and we can start something. And we did. We actually did start the purple wave on Polygon, and it was crazy. It was crazy. The support that we've received and the amazing people we've met throughout this journey has been crazy, honestly. So when we started, we thought, okay, so it's either we go to a chain that's already popping and it would be even more challenging, or we can go to a place where it's not that crazy and we can risk it and see if we can make it crazy. And I believe we succeeded because that's how it was. So it was a little bit calm, and you'd know, like, the few people there, you'd know who they are and which project they follow and which projects they are a part of. We did receive tons of support as well. Like, I do remember that we've received from Billionaire Zombies, we've received from multiple people, like a lot of support, a lot of love, Magic Eden as well, One Planet. So we've received a lot of love and support, and people did believe in us, and they still do, and what we do. And I think it has been, it was great. So yeah, I think we definitely made the right choice by choosing to start somewhere was not as crazy, and just bring the crazy with us.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%. And I like the fact that you guys came here, you stuck around, right, and you kind of like, help kind of like build what Polygon is today. And as far as speaking of Polygon, right, and you said like how great it is to work with everybody, and how the ecosystem has been so friendly. So as someone like, as a founder, an artist and everything like that, like what's the potential you see with Polygon over the next like 2 or 3 years as far as the NFT ecosystem? And actually the whole thing all together.
Yeah, but honestly, like in a nutshell, I definitely think Polygon could be, or is going to be, the leading chain of not only NFT, but like the whole, like as a whole of Polygon. Like it does provide a lot of things and a lot of opportunities, and like put aside the very low gas fees that is already attracting people, but everything else is available on Polygon. And I think every single person behind Polygon is working really hard to provide things and become one of the leading chains out there. So I definitely 1000% believe that if any chain is going places, it would be Polygon.
Yeah, 100% agree. This is where I kind of started, right? This kind of channel here in Polygon. And Polygon's home, like I said, love the vibes, love everything like that. And as far, I want to kind of go back to like the whole kind of like project itself, right? And you guys, like you said, you have the original artwork, right? But you also have like this like mutation, like evolution. Can you kind of explain a little bit more on what exactly that is?
Sure. So when we started, the OG apes are the evolution ones. So these are the Polygon apes, the OG ones. And once you get these, if you've got that in your wallet, back in September, we've dropped the serums. Okay, so you can go to our website, you can claim your serum as long as you've got the OG ape, and then you get to mutate your ape. Also on our official website, you get to mutate your ape, and then you'll have your OG and your mutant ape, and you lose your serum obviously when you use it. When you use it on your ape. After that, what we're producing for that project is we have another collection that's called the Undead collection, and that one is going to be even more unique than the mutants, because the mutants are 1000% are unique to us, and they're not inspired by anything else. And then we've got the Undead. So for you to unlock the Undead, let's say, and get that NFT, that's what we're working on at the minute for the Polygon Ape project. You'll have to have an OG ape and a mutant ape, and they don't even really need to be the same one that you got mutated. They don't have to match. You just have to have one of each for you to get the Undead ape. And then once you get to the Undead ape, it's going to be a crazy experience, because what I've got planned for the artwork for the Undead is completely different. So it's going to look something weird. I don't want to limit it to a certain approach, but it's just going to be something like, you could, for example, get a vampire ape, or you can get a mummy ape. Yeah, it's going to be just something very weird that has not been actually out there, especially on our chain. And that's what we're aiming for. We are still working on this. This is very early stages for this project. It's not going to be released anytime soon, but this is the steps, or the roadmap. And I'm just talking about the NFTs and not everything else that collection is providing its holders. Just for an NFT chain, that's how we're playing it. So you get the OG, and then you get the mutant, and then you get an Undead. For you to get the Undead, you have to have both an OG and a mutant.
Oh, that's very interesting. I like that. I like that, like different kind of like spin on it and everything like that. That's really, really cool. That you're doing like, something separate. I really am a fan of that. And kind of like, you're saying like the different artwork and everything like that. That is something that's really, really cool. It's not only just doing the mutation, but also the Undead. And I'm a huge like zombie Undead fan. So really a huge fan of that as well.
Yeah, honestly, I cannot wait for that collection to drop, because I've been sketching a lot of things, and I've been diving into weird things that I can draw for this collection, and the potential is crazy. Like, you can just, like, when I was mutating the apes, I was thinking about like how could this ape get mutated, because something happened to it, and the mutation process is a change of a DNA. So you get mutated, you still look like what you used to look like, but just different. For the Undead collection, it's just going to be something completely different. So you might not even recognize that this item used to be an ape, you know, as long as we keep the pointy ears, because the pointy ears are kind of signature. Other than that, the whole ape is going to completely change. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. I like that, right? And speaking of one, I was about to ask you about the pointy ears too as well, but before we go do that, right? So, you know, as an artist, when I really like asking like, you know, different artists this, right? When you are like drawing like these like undead or these mutations or all these things, like where do you go to kind of like draw inspiration for that? Because I know it's very kind of like difficult, one, to take your artwork and kind of like almost kind of rework it though, but like what are some of the things that you kind of draw from, like outside inspirations?
I can't say it was difficult, but I can't say it's been easy. It was really challenging, I think. You have to kind of go to a dark place where you need
I love that.
Yeah, you kind of really need to like think about like, because the traits are a part of that ape. So you want to think like, if this ape was under a very strong spell or a very strong effect, what's going to happen to it? And there's a thin line for you to make something mutated or for it to become an undead, you know, because they're not zombies, they're still alive, they just have a change of a DNA. So it is still alive, but it has been so messed up that it looks like this. So you kind of need to touch base with your dark side, or go to a very dark side where, for example, we've got like possessed eyes, and I had fingers coming out of these eyes just trying to crawl out of that ape. So like, you have to just have your imagination just 1000% open up and just start imagining what's going on. And thankfully, one of the really like the exciting things I do during my free time is just read thriller novels, and I've been doing that for a long time. And when you read thriller novels, you kind of imagine everything that's going on. So there are zero visuals. So I've been training my mind to kind of go to these dark places, and I think it paid off when I started working on the mutants, because it was an amazing thing. Honestly, like it was exhausting. It was time consuming, but amazing. So yeah, I think touch base with your dark side is the answer.
I see. I love that. I absolutely love that. See, because you know, artists and people that like either make music or create art and everything like that, when they go to these places, it to me is so interesting to find out like, where do y'all go? Like, do you like pull like, you know, some like dark corner of your mind? Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, like, I find that super interesting. I don't know about you though, but to me, it's just truly amazing where you guys can go and just draw inspiration from, you know?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, you start seeing it everywhere. Like, I do remember I was telling the community when I was working on the mutants that I had a doctor's appointment, and the doctor had said something to me while I was there. And all I was thinking is, like the side effect of a certain medication. And all I was thinking was like, so if the ape took this, like, I zoned out while I was there, just trying to think, if the ape would take this medicine, what would happen to the ape? So you start finding or trying to look after whatever inspiration that happens during your daily life, even if during your work meetings, if you're taking a walk, you start seeing weird things and be like, that would look amazing if it can be a hat on that mutant. You know what I mean? So you just need to grab whatever inspiration that's around you and just invest it in your art.
Yeah, it's truly amazing, and I love that answer, and I love that whole kind of description what you did. Now, as far as like, you know, as we kind of go back to the original apes and all these different like, you know, variations of the apes and everything like that, are there going to be like certain perks for holding like a different one, or like, you know, or they're all going to be pretty much the same?
Oh no, they're completely different. So even that happened to the mutants, and that's going to happen to the undead. So what happens is whatever fur, because we have a very large collection of furs. Like we've got 27 furs for the apes, and they're completely different, and they're not even on the market for different ape collections or any other different collections. So we've introduced different colors. We've got red, we've got pink, and we've got black, and we've got silver. These are not available out there in different collections. And the reason why I introduced these in the OG collection, because to give me let's say a bigger space for me to be more creative in the following collections. So what's going to happen if you, let's say, for example, get to the undead, each fur will become a different character. So as I said, for example, let's say if the silver one becomes a mummy, the black one will become a vampire, you know? So the different furs you get will result in holding different style of NFTs as we go like down the road of getting to unlock the 3 NFTs. So each fur or each trait will get you something else. And then if you hold more in our collection, we really don't focus a lot on whales. We do, for us, our slogan is just hold one. But for us, we also do reward people who hold a lot of things as well. So that happened when we introduced a Donzi, for example. So the more you hold, we had a tier system where we airdropped the Donzi collection to our holders. And it wasn't one of one because it was a new collection. And the purpose of that was for us to bring more holders, which happened because if you're not into apes, you're going to be into Donzis and you're going to be a part of collection. And that was the whole idea for us to introduce the Donzis. So once we did that, we created a tier system that has not been done in the ecosystem. And we wanted to reward people based on how many NFTs they hold within our collection ecosystem. So that happened and we dropped them that. So I think I'm not really sure if I've drifted apart from your original question, but
no.
It is what you get down the road is based on what you already hold from the OG collection, and that is in terms of the apes, but also that unlocks whatever else that the collection ecosystem is bringing to its holders. So that tier system helped people who like the whales got more. We have like 5 different types of holders. So if you've got like let's say less than 5, you're a gibbon, and if you've got more than a certain amount, you're a gorilla, and it's like a fun names for our holders, and that's how they were rewarded with the Donzi NFTs. And this is what we're going to do with the Donzi NFTs. So it's kind of all like it's under one umbrella. It's the collection umbrella. And this is what we're planning to do. Whatever we introduce, the holders are going to get rewarded, and they're either going to get rewarded with the different art styles from the same collection, or they're going to get extra things from whatever we introduce later on for our ecosystem.
Okay, that's great. And actually, before we get into Donzi's, right, before I forget this question, right, I noticed that each one has the pointy ears. Like, what was the kind of thinking behind like the pointy ears?
So I wanted to, because like as I said, every chain has its own apes, and they, like, you look at them and they're kind of similar. I did draw the entire collection myself, and when I was sketching, I was just looking into things and how can I differentiate this collection from other collections. As a PFP, the pointy ears can, like, you can can scream out there that, oh, these are Polygon apes, they're just different from any other apes. So I wanted something out there, and it could not have been the eyes or the mouth, because they're not as, you cannot focus on them as much as the ears. So I wanted the ears to just stand out as a PFP. Like, no matter how small it is, you can see the pointy ears. And for the longest time on Polygon, everyone was talking about these ears, and everyone was talking, like, there were laughs and there were like fun times where we were just talking about how pointy they are, they look different. And that was the purpose. The purpose was I needed something to differentiate our apes from any other apes, and at the same time to make them work. And I think these kind of ears just, they just do the job.
Yeah, no, and like I said, obviously, like, you can definitely, every time I see the pointy ears, I definitely know that's like, like Polygon Apes and everything like that. And, kind of like as an artist, before we get into kind of like Donzi's too, because I do like asking this question too. as far as like, the Pointy Apes, like certain traits, like, like Sally has like the Joe Club glasses, Alpha has the crowns and things like that. And you have like, the pointy ears and such, right? And
100%.
as an artist, right, when you roll out these traits and they're a hit, right, and everybody kind of like digs them and everybody kind of loves them, right? Like, what's kind of like the feeling you get that you get when people actually like your art, receive it, and it's like a big hit? Like, what's kind of feeling you get, if you can kind of describe it?
Yeah. So the first thing you'd feel as an artist, if anyone, even if one person would comment something that I like this piece, you'd be like, oh my God, thank God. Because it's like a big gamble, because art is really like, it's in the eye of the beholder. So you never know, like you could like it, and another person be like, oh my God, that's not my cup of tea, But anytime you feel like someone is appreciative of what you've presented or what you gave the world, you'd be like, oh my God, thank God. Like that's honestly what you'd be like. I'd be nervous, and every single time I meet someone on Polygon and they ask me that question, it's like, what do you feel about like minting a new collection or about dropping something? Like the mutants were an airdrop, like it wasn't like an airdrop you needed to mutate, but they were not a mint. Even then I was nervous. I was like, oh, what if people did not like this trait? What if people, it's always risky and it's nerve-wracking, but it's very rewarding once you see people talking about it and people sharing it. I see people like zooming in on certain traits and be like, oh my God, we love this. Because we do like in collection, I make sure that the art we produce is 100% the highest quality that we're allowed to produce on any single marketplace. So I did want this to be to stand there. I want people to be able to zoom in as much as possible and talk about the art and talk about how clean the line art is and the details of every single collection that we produce. And I see people just zooming in on certain traits and be like, oh, I love this. Look at the details. Look at this. I'd be like, oh, thank God. Like you'd be nervous throughout the entire, even if you get one new holder, and you'd be like, oh, please say that you came here because you love the art, That's from the artist perspective. But from the founder perspective, you want someone to love the whole thing, like the whole ecosystem, the whole foundation of your project. But then the artistic side of me would be like, oh, please like the art. So yeah, the answer would be, thank God they like it.
No, that's great. And it's usually kind of like, I don't know, I don't think I've had that feeling kind of just yet, though, right? Like, especially with this content creation, though. But I'm interested to see kind of like other people's kind of perspective when, people, they put something out and people like, it's really well received. And yeah, no, it's just always kind of like want to know kind of like the feeling and thinking about it. But
oh, you definitely get that. I've watched a few interviews and I think you're doing amazing. So
thank you.
Yeah. And I think I've heard a few questions that you ask people, and I think it's very interesting the way that you approach. And I think once you, let's say, get more famous on Polygon, you'll get that reward. Like you'd be like, oh, so people really like my approach and people really like how I act. I think it's very rewarding, and definitely you're going to get that.
I really appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you. Now, as we kind of get into Dante, right now, that was like kind of like my next question. Like, how do they fit in the kind of ecosystem, or are they something completely like separate, or will they ever kind of like cross over? I'm very curious about that. Okay,
so they're not a separate thing, but at the same time, they're not really connected. But we do have a story. I don't know if you know this about collection, but whenever we want to bring something out, like it has a lore and it has a backstory to it. So, and this is what I'm working on for the long run. I'm putting together a comic book that will tell the story of collection. Yeah, I love comic books, honestly. So one of the things that I'm doing, and I keep adding to it, it's still in the very early stages, but I keep sketching things and I keep writing bits here and there for me to add to that comic book, but that's going to happen. So what happens is, because as you know, because we started with the apes, so a lot of people were a part of this. A lot of people came and a lot of people were interested in apes, but some people were like, we just don't want an ape collection. So, but we do love collection. We love the ecosystem. We love how hard you guys work and how, like, we never gave up at all. Like, there were so many challenges that beyond your imagination, so many challenges and a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And we were like, okay, so there's a small gap in our ecosystem where we see people would like to be a part of it, but maybe these few holders are not interested, or maybe, sorry, not holders, like members of this ecosystem are not like maybe a little bit hesitant on getting the apes. So we were like, okay, so let's introduce this whole new collection where 50% of it was an airdrop to our partners, to our friends in the ecosystem, and of course to our holders. So we were like, okay, so it's time for us to introduce something that is 1000% unique, only for us, and for us to connect these stories together. So the story was, we created this imaginary place that is called Storm, and that Storm where these Donzies live. And these Donzi is a group of gnomes. That's why we called it Donzi. And they're kind of like tiny. They look like gnomes. So these gnomes live on that Storm. And we kind of created a backstory where the apes, we have the main ape that's called Tony. It's a tiger ape. That tiger ape just fly to that place that's called Storm and start building, like he made an agreement with these Donzies to just move all the apes to Storm where it's safe, where they can just build together. We can just build this ecosystem and just keep grinding. So that is the backstory of that. So they are kind of connected, but they're not really connected in terms of just they depend on each other. So they're kind of like a standalone collection where the Donzies will also get an airdrop that will be the Donzi companion. That has not been announced. Like the main idea of the companion is announced, but what it's going to look like never been announced. So they kind of like, they have their own path, just like the apes do, but at the same time together they're building the ecosystem of collection on Storm. And that's where also the mutants have dropped, and all these collections work together and they gather husk. So all of our holders, when they stake their NFTs from collection, if it's a Donzi, if it's an ape or a mutant ape, they get husk. And that husk is our token, where you can swap it for Matic, or you can get raffles. We play a lot of games on our Discord. You get auction, you get Matic, and you can mint our NFTs, some of our NFTs using that husk. So we've minted a new collection. It was like a very limited collection just for Halloween for our holders, like a rewarding system for our holders. And they've minted that collection using husk. The Donzi, once we dropped the Donzi, we had a few days limited mint just for our holders. Whomever who hold husk, they were able to mint the Donzis using husk. So we introduced, let's say, cross utilities for both projects, but they kind of have their own paths.
I love that. And something I didn't ask you, but I'll kind of tie it into this too as well, like the one possible comic book, right, and the undead kind of apes. Is that something more that's going to be later on, kind of like next year, or do you kind of have a timetable, or is you really kind of can't say just yet?
I can say a few things. So what we're working on at the minute, and the plan for this to be released before the end of the year, is a season 2 for Donzi. And that's just going to be an art upgrade for the current collection, because after we released the art for the mutants, and we kind of like pushed the limit of like the potential that we can bring to Polygon, like the details and they look crazy. So we were like, okay, so we saw that there's an opportunity for us to actually upgrade the artwork for the Donzi. So this is what we're working on at the minute. That's gonna, hopefully the plan for that is to be airdropped. Actually, not airdropped. Airdrop is a wrong word, but it's an art upgrade, and it's gonna be released before the end of the year. So that's the plan. And then after that, we're already working at the minute on a few things that will not be released soon, and I cannot give timeline on that, but these are, we've got a game, we've got the Undead, and we've got the companion for the Donzis. This is what's going to happen during 2024. We've got a full schedule already of things coming up. We're already working on them, and if you're a part of collection by now, you'd know that we always come up with new things, and we just randomly airdrop them to people, randomly just drop the news to our holders and be like, oh, okay guys, so we're gonna do that. Oh, okay guys, we just got a land on the other side. Once it's released, we're gonna take you all to the other side so we can play. We just randomly do these things because every single day we explore what's happening within the Polygon ecosystem and other ecosystem, and see how we can enhance our ecosystem ourselves and what we can bring to our holders. So bear market, not bear market, holders freaking out for the current situation, how the people maybe have lost a little bit of faith on NFTs, or they're not really sure what's going to happen. Or during the good days, we never stop building. So these are our plans for 2024, and our plan for the upcoming 2 months is to release the season 2. And the season 2 is going to be actually very interesting, because we're not going to like just release it. We're coming up with a very interesting way for the whole community to work together towards unlocking season 2. So they're not gonna we're not gonna say, oh, so tomorrow your NFTs are gonna change to the new style. We're gonna be like, oh, so during this week you have to do 1, 2, 3 for you to all together to reach a goal, and then after that we're gonna unlock season 2. So even these things, like, they kind of bring the community closer. At the same time, it's fun and brings a little bit of fun to Discord, fun to Twitter, and fun to the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, that's great. I love projects that are constantly like building kind of through this, kind of like bear market. And kind of like, speaking of that, speaking of this bear market, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, right? A lot of
I've seen it worse. I've seen it when we started. People, like, whoever started after us might think this is button, but no, we've seen worse than this.
So actually, and this kind of like leads to my question, right? Because you've seen some projects kind of fall by the wayside, unfortunately, right? And you see like all of this like chaos and turmoil and everything like that. What has this bear market kind of taught you guys? And two, how has it been trying to like build through this bear market? Like, what are some of the kind of like obstacles you guys have overcome, or has it kind of been kind of easy for you guys because you guys have kind of had an experience in this already?
Well, it's never easy. Honestly, it's never easy, and it's always just an extra stress, unnecessary stress on founders and builders. So you have to worry about the community, and you have to always talk about the community to the community, trying to assure them that you're not going anywhere and trying to show them that you're building. That's in terms of just trying to ease things up for people who are maybe panicking about the situation. And that happens in a lot of places. So it's not easy. It's always challenging. But at the same time, and this is a very honest opinion, I think it's a space where founders and builders can build. If it's always bull run, you won't have time to build. So I think I don't want to say a good space, because it is not good for a lot of people. A lot of people do lose money. A lot of people do panic, and that's why they lose money. So I'm not going to use the word a good thing, but it kind of gives a founder or an artist enough space to build and continue building. Of course, this is for people who are determined to take the project somewhere else. And this is what we're doing. We took this opportunity. During this bear market, we did release the Mutants. During this bear market, we did release the Donzi. During this bear market, we were releasing a game. And during this bear market, we're doing season 2 for Donzi. So as long as you've got solid founders and solid partners, I don't think the bear market would scare you at all. You just take it, build in this space, and just be ready for the bull market.
I like that. I love that answer. I really do. And you piqued my interest. You said game. What game?
So when we started, the first thing we started, we got a land on the other side, and that was something that we're very excited about. Yeah. So we're gonna take our people there, but there's a lot of delays from their side. So the game has not been actually launched yet. So that's been postponed from their side, but we're ready. We've got our land, and we've got the elements that are going to happen on our land. But at the minute, we actually just got a sandbox one, and a sandbox land, and we've built it. It's very cool. And we're going to celebrate our anniversary on it on the 19th of November. You and anyone you'd like to invite are more than welcome. We're going to have a lot of prizes. We've got quests and hidden quests and very cool things for people to participate in. And it's going to be the whole day. It's going to be a Sunday on the 19th of November. And that's the first day we drop the ape collection, the Polygon Ape. So we're going to have the full day of people playing, people joining voice chat on Discord, just talking about this, having quests, solving quests together. and there'll be plenty of prizes. That's what's happening at the minute. And we're also working on a running game. It's just like fun things also for the community. These things like just sort of an added value for our holders to have something fun and see the NFTs coming to life, if I may say. So even on the sandbox that we've got Rotten Banana as a character, and we've got Ace as a character, and Crooks as a character, and we actually have one of the community members who is invested in working on Sandbox and is offering to assist the community holders to create their own NFTs to bring them to Sandbox. So yeah, a lot of things are happening. We keep building. So anytime that we think, we might be able to bring this new utility to our project, we just never think about it twice. We just study it, we see how it's going to affect the project, and bam, we're there.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that you guys are going off into kind of like the metaverse. Love, a huge fan of that. And also too, that kind of answers my question about the IRL events, right? But also too, like, do you guys like plan? You guys are doing so much for the community, but do you guys plan like to have like future like merch out, or maybe in real life meetups too as well? Like, is that something that's kind of possibly could come like later on next year, or what's your kind of take on that?
Did you say merch at first?
Yeah, merch and IRL, like more IRL events, like, and like, you know, well, whatever you guys kind of have planned. Is there like more kind of stuff like down the line in 2024?
100%. So we do have merch already on our website, and that is like Polygon 8 branded and whole collection thing. But then other than that, we are actually definitely planning for next year because we missed out on last year due to our schedules, and we're still building. And we thought, although it's a very good step for any project, we're in the UAE. So me and Ace reside in the UAE, so it's very difficult to take a 18 hours flight to just attend an event for 3 days. So it's very difficult. However, I think around that time next year, I will be in London, and it will be way easier for me to go to the US, because that's where the majority of holders are, and just do an actual meetup. Ideally, I do want it to happen in Europe because that's easier, but a lot of people in the US, and it's going to be difficult. So we're going to do like a meetup in the US, and then we're going to do another one for Europe, and for us to be able to meet everyone who cannot make it into both ends. So definitely, we're very excited. I've heard this comment from different people that are outside our community, and they've always told me that they've heard me talk to our community on Spaces, and they were like, "Oh, you actually do know every single person in your community." And I take pride in that. I chat with them. I know who they are. I know about their families, what they're doing. And I think it's very fun because myself, Ace, and Crooks, we actually enjoy this and we love this. When we started this because we love this. We love being a part of Web3. And I do 1000% believe this is the future. And not only just NFTs, the whole Web3 is definitely the future. When we started this, we made sure that we know the people that are trusting in us, and we know the people that are a part of our community. So we talk to them all the time. Like, we're always on Discord, and we're always in voice chat, and we have community spaces that we don't personally host. People from the community host themselves. I just jump there, I talk to them, and it doesn't really need to be about the project or about what's coming up. It's just something like fun things. What did you do? How was your day? How are your kids? And think just random things, just to get to know these people. And I think this is one of the best things about our community, that we actually know each other, and we've invested time into getting to know each other. Not only us founders, but the community themselves. So definitely looking forward to meet them in real life and meet everyone else.
That's, like I said, I love the fact that you're very connected with the community. Absolutely love that. That's a huge green flag for me. And kind of like what I do want to ask you though too, right? You have all these things going on. You have all this stuff though, but where would you guys like to be a year from now?
So short answer would be, because when we started, we were, I want to say on top of Polygon, but then a lot of other projects came, and you know how it is. Like today's you're wearing the crown, the next day someone else is wearing the crown, and then a new project comes. It just depends on the hype and what I want to happen, or where we're working towards is just to take the crown back. That is a short answer. Because if like there's amazing projects, and I'm serious, a lot of amazing art, and this is from an artistic perspective, and a lot of amazing builders from a founder perspective, where they're trying to work every single day hard and build on this ecosystem. So, but I do believe that because we did start, that we've earned it. So this is what we're working towards, and definitely taking the crown back is the short answer to that question.
I love that. I love some competitiveness. And, you know, Ron Banana, I really do appreciate you coming on my show. And this is a really huge deal for me. And before you go, right, is there anything else you want to say, or any community members you want to shout out, or anybody you want to shout out before you leave?
First of all, thank you for having me here. Honestly, it's been great. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been very smooth, very, very comfortable conversation. So thank you. I'd love to shout out for the entire community. I want to say my partners, like has been an amazing partner. I'd like to always give him credit, because a lot of people know me more because I'm the artist and people talk to me and talk about my art, but he's always grinding behind the scenes. And he is the face of the operation, where people, if they're facing any problem, they actually go to Iz, not to me. They come to me for fun talks and art talks. I also do want to say a huge thank you to Crooks. Crooks is our community person. He became a co-founder. That's how awesome Crooks is. The mods we've got are amazing. We've got Aftab, Ocean, and Gregor. I just want to send them love. And the creatives, Boss, Tanaka, Atomic Fox, and Matt, these people, and every single person grinding day and night, like Bar, a few other people. Like, I just don't want to keep naming people so I don't forget anyone, but these are the actual core team of Collection. That's why I wanted to just give them a shout out. But every single person on Discord grinding day and night, I just want to say thank you. You've been doing great, you've been amazing, and we appreciate you. And we're not going anywhere, so we're just going to keep building together with the community and everyone on Polygon. Like I've sent a lot of love and support to other communities, just because I believe starting new to a new chain could be terrifying, because I've been there when it was kind of dead. So I like to give support for other people, and I like to see them pay that to other communities as well. So just be nice, and that's it, I think.
I really appreciate you. Thank you, Ron Banana. And guys, this wraps our show. If you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on X. Follow Ron Banana. Follow the Polygon Apes on X too as well. I have all their stuff pinned down at the bottom. And I'll see you guys around on the blockchain. Take care.